Hi, so we have Toby Wynn-Davis, Reece Putinas,
Yep.
and Leila Kotori. Three actors from the Ghosts of Borley Rectory, which we have just shown, the world premiere of here at the Romford International Film Festival. Thank you so much, all three of you, for joining us. Absolute pleasure to watch it. Really enjoyed it so much. Can you tell me, Toby, when did you get involved? How did you get involved?
Gosh, we're going back to July, end of June, July last year. I had done a film with Louisa, producer, one of the producers, and we were actually just doing some idents for the extras on the DVD of that film that we were doing, and she went, "Oh my goodness." Long story short, don't go anywhere. I've got something to send you. And she sent me some footage of Harry Price, the character I play, an old Movietone news from the 30s of this character. And Steve said, "Can you just do your interpretation of this film?" So I filmed a load of stuff playing Harry Price in a more Harry Price way than I do it in the film that we have. And I sent it off, and Steve and I had a long conversation about the story behind it. I did loads of research. I read the script, which I was completely taken with immediately, because I think it tells the story really succinctly with a great deal of passion, because Steve has been on this project for a long time. Stop now, Steve. Okay, done it. This ghost needs to go to the rest. I was just completely bowled over by it. Had to do it. Was delighted to play. And when you're playing real characters, it's so invigorating to get behind their story. Research is fascinating to do. It's absorbing, and it gets you off the mark really quickly because you've got a wealth of material behind you. That said, I didn't want to do a facsimile of Harry Price. I'm not, playing him as such with all his mannerisms, with his speech and movement, all of that. But I hope I've captured the essence of his passion. His almost, he's a zealot for this, paranormal research, and was, hugely famous for it at the time. So I'm very excited to get under this guy's skin and present it in this wonderful film. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So I'll just go back to something you said. Did you send him a video not of us? You didn't read from his script?
No.
You just did.
This was me doing my take on the Movietone News interview with Harry Price from back in the 1930s, sorry. Black and white, all grainy. I even treated the video that I sent him and put a black and white grainy wash over it, and dressed up as Harry Price, and did it with all his mannerisms and presenting these fascinating apparatus that he had, and so I was just it was an extended casting session, but yeah, kind of doing my take on Harry Price.
Obviously worked.
Yeah.
Reece, same question to you. How did you get involved?
Funnily enough, quite a similar story. I also had done a previous film with Louisa, the same one that Toby had done,
Yes.
which was Cannibal Lake.
Yes.
Is it Cannibal Lake?
I think it is now called
The name's
Cannibal Lake.
changed a few times. And I was a last-minute addition to that. I ended up replacing an actor that wasn't able to do the part, and they were very impressed. And I remember Louisa, she called me up, sent me a voice note and said, would you be interested in doing this sort of period type piece? And I said, yeah, absolutely, because normally I play bad characters, killers and stuff. So she sent me a brief breakdown of it, and she said, can you just totally improvise something that you would... So I had no script, and I remembered I set the camera up, and I just put on a suit and a tie, and I just started speaking in this accent and talking about paranormal ghost stories and stuff. And I sent it over, and she showed it to Steve, and he was very, very impressed. And then they cast me as the supporting lead, which was a shock because it was, again, it sort of felt like it was there was a very fast turnaround on it. But I'm glad that they did, because
Absolutely.
I got to work with these two fascinating actors, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process.
Thank you. Leila?
So after knowing Louise for over a decade now. We went to drama school together, and there's been a few films that I've worked with her on that she's produced over the last couple of years. She approached me, her and Steve approached me at the beginning of last year about Marianne Foster, and we did a few little takes, a few shots at the location in February, and it was. I was still quite shocked to come on board for the feature as well. I was kind of hoping, but yes, it was a nice surprise to come
I see.
on
So
board
when you
for
said
the
you shot
feature.
that in February, you meant the February before. I thought you meant you.
No,
Sure.
in
It-
2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was
'Cause
then
it
in. That's
was-
now in the film.
When I said when we were on set, and I said, "Oh, this is nothing compared to the cold of February."
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah, that house was cold, wasn't
The
it?
house was very cold.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only patches.
Yeah.
You
It was-
walked into
Oh,
it.
stop.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
no,
seriously.
no, it's
Really?
Really, like you couldn't make it up. Like we in the film, there's points where like Toby and I walk in and we say, "Oh, the air is cold and it's freezing." And the house we were shooting in, there were points where we were shooting a scene and out of nowhere the temperature did drop dramatically, and it freaked Steve out a little bit. But we could all feel it. It was really cold.
So you kind of got through the audition stage in a kind of not unique way, but an interesting way. Thank you for sharing that. So did you rehearse together, or did you all suddenly meet on set?
We met
yeah,
on
we
set.
met on set.
Met on
Did you?
Um,
Okay.
And I don't think I met you really previously, did I? Because the
Not
role
at
you
all.
did in the previous film, we didn't.
No,
actually have any
no.
scenes
We
together.
weren't. We know you because
No.
you died.
Yeah, I got axed in the top of the
You were
head.
the ghost.
I died too, but much later. Yeah, you died on a
They
jet
literally,
ski.
yeah, they literally brought me in and was like, "We're gonna stick an axe in the top of your head," and I was like, "Great."
Tell everybody, how does that work then? You're obviously actors of considerable ability, but you meet somebody on set. How much time have you got to run through each scene?
Sometimes no time at all.
we didn't really rehearse that set. We did some very brief run-throughs when we were sat in the holding area, didn't we? And we just briefly discussed what we felt was going on in the scene, and obviously Toby is the veteran actor, so I took on notes from him to interpret and put into my character and
I think
hopefully give off the chemistry.
I think a lot with film actors comes from when you arrive on set and you get into hair and makeup and costume, and the repertoire that you have
Yeah.
behind there really helps to work with the dynamic that you then have on screen.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
sorry.
Because you do spend a lot of time off of the camera as well, because you obviously have the camera setting up, the lighting setting up, everyone else is setting up. So there is more time, even though there's not technically rehearsal time, there is a lot of time for the actors to spend together,
Yeah.
to mesh and work together. That isn't necessarily a rehearsal of the characters themselves, but it really does help you work together as a team.
Yeah.
The role of us actors is to come with not a completed performance, but a lot of offers. You come and say, it could be this. It could be this. Steve, what do you... I was thinking, and you do. And you do the same. The moment you have a first run through, and it's usually for, as you know, as a filmmaker, you're doing it for blocking, for camera angles, for the lighting. You get a chance to do a couple of staggers, a stumble and a fluff and whatever. And you say, I'm thinking, and you literally make the offer to the actor there.
Yeah.
So you're not going to impose, and you're not going to say, I've absolutely knocked this out the park in my bedroom, and I'm going to do it exactly like this. You make offers.
Yeah.
And I spent, weeks before the shoot building up a catalogue of what ifs. How could this moment happen? What if I go in this direction and everyone else goes, why is he, it's not going to work. You're going to spend more time bringing it all back. So you have to be sensible about it, but you have to know what your strengths are, what you can bring to it. But what was, I think, where I was getting to with this was there are a couple of quite extensive scenes in this film. which you'll see when you have a chance. That because they were shot almost as theatre pieces, there was a chance to get to run through them a number of times, and things did evolve, and you, as an actor, as experienced or otherwise, as talented actors, you get to learn very quickly, I'm going to do that again, oh god, that didn't well, that was good, but I could also, and within 2, 3, 4 runs through of this piece, you've built a wealth of nuance and intent in your performance that could take 2, 3, 4 days of rehearsal in a theatre piece. It's just the way your brain connects, the way that you trust yourself, the way that you trust the process that's going on around you. And I felt very much in those scenes, the seance scenes, the luncheon scenes that we had. Yeah, okay, I was waffling on a lot, and I had these pages and pages of rubbish to get through, but because we were able, a lot of them were done on single tracking shots, and they were intercut with pickups as well. But we shot those long shots 2 or 3 times, and in that process, you get to learn a great deal about what you're going to do. And then, thankfully, you get to do your pickups, you get to do your close-ups, and in that moment, you go, I can bring all of this knowledge to bear now. And I can really tell not the smaller bits of the story, but I can tell those very specific bits of what is happening to my character in this precise moment. You may not even be speaking. Someone's talking to you, and your response speaks volumes. Just because you've heard it a couple of times and you now know what will be truthful to your character. It's all about truth at the end of the day. Only about truth. I've said enough now.
No, you have, and everything you said is fascinating and very enlightening. So, were there any challenges, anybody, personal or just generally on set?
I think if you come to a set and there's not a challenge, there's a problem there. So I think every set has a challenge in some way, shape or form for an actor. And I always think it always should be seen as a good challenge. Anything that comes up is good because it just evolves you as an actor, whether that's your interactions with the rest of the crew and the cast or just you as yourself. And I found there were definite challenges for me on set, but I felt very supported by the rest of the cast and crew. And there were a couple of big scenes that I was exceptionally nervous about doing, but on the day, as soon as I sat down and I was in front of the camera, I felt very much at ease and that was a testament to the rest of the cast and crew that were on set.
Beautifully said.
Reece?
Yeah, I agree with Leila. I think, all sets and different productions can have their challenges. If you come on set and you don't particularly click with certain cast members and you have scenes together, that can be challenging, especially if you're meant to have a really good rapport.
But we worked that through and we got over it. And by the end of the week, I felt that we...
No, he's joking. No, do you know what? I have to say, the cast and the crew that we had, we all gelled so well. Yeah. From the moment I stepped on set, me and Toby, me and Leila, we just all gelled together, and I felt it really shone through in the scenes that Toby and I did together. We just got on really, really well, and that makes your job so much easier. Because when you take a break from the scene, you can have a bit of fun and, a bit, not necessarily, some people are very method and they're like, they won't talk to you, which, everyone's process is different. But no, we did have some jokes. And
you can look at me there if you want. I'm off in a corner.
It was really difficult for me though, because I turned up on set, what was it? It was a good few days after you guys had already started.
Yeah, we'd already started,
Yeah. And so when you turn up on set later, some of the cast have already bonded, you're like...
Yeah, it's like, it's not like there's clicks, but you know what, I know what you mean.
Everyone was lovely the moment I turned up on set. It was great.
Yeah, we had some good times in the holding area, just joking around.
So Reece, forgive me for not being familiar with your previous characters that you've played, but you indicated a style, maybe a type of character that you have played
Yes.
before. This character is nothing like that.
No.
And actually nothing like Harry either. And you're almost like this brand new, stiff as a board protege. How do you pull that off from coming from these other characters? Just as acting.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
it just acting?
yeah, it's because it's so easy as an actor, and we all do, to get typecast. And every role that I generally play is an antagonist. It's it's a villain of some kind. So when Louisa approached me with this particular character, that's why I leapt at the chance to play it. Because as an actor, we always want an opportunity to show range, because that's the skill of acting. So I thought, here's this character. They're educated. They're going to be well spoken. They're going to have a more stiff upper kind of posture, and it was so fun to explore the nuances of that character. And then obviously seeing Toby's interpretation of Harry Price and getting an idea of how we would interact as characters. Me being the submissive to him because he's like, it's like, I want to learn from you. Like, please teach me. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. And seeing it today, I was very happy with how different that character comes across compared to what I generally play.
So Toby kind of answered this question, but when you do a take,
Yeah.
when you do a take, do you just know it's right? And if you know it's right, and the director says, "Can we try that differently?" What's going on? What's the full process?
I don't think as an actor, no, we never know it's right. Only the director knows when it's right, because we could do it and be like, "Oh, that felt good, didn't it? What did you think?"
Or we
But then
can
the director
go,
might
"That
say it was
felt
crap.
absolutely awful."
And then the director says it was amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That's the best take you've done.
Yeah.
I generally don't think. I think sometimes you can be genuinely in sync with the director, and everyone's in sync, but you never know what it's going to look like when you get it onto the editing suite.
Yeah.
And then there again, then there's another different form of looking at it. So it's very different to doing it in person, to seeing it on camera, to then seeing it on the screen, and putting everything together.
The real killer is when you've knocked it out of the park, you've brought everything in there, you think that is it, BAFTA, nailed on, you get cut, and the cameraman says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, it was soft in the middle there. We've got to go." You've come out of focus. Someone's dropped a boom. The boom's in shot. There's a plane gone over. Someone's dropped some change out of their pocket and ruined. And you want to go, what? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And then you do it again. You won't get that back.
No.
You
And I
won't
actually
get
remember
that take back.
happening to him a few times. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, that's just bad timing."
Yeah.
Other times you do it and it's good, and you say, "I'd really like another go at that," because you just think we're talking a percent, 1 or 2% extra. Do it again. I looked at Lou and she went, "Nah, the one before," and I went, "Yeah, you're right. That was a waste of time." But if you've got the time, you go for it. And because I personally, I just want to wring out as much as is there. But you've only got an hour or two to catch a scene. You've got to move on. You've got another setup. You've got to, it's a game of limitations, and you play it as best you can.
I think every actor, if they could, and every director really, if they could, would like to get as many scenes as possible, to get as many cuts as possible, to try and get the best.
Probably why Stanley
out of people.
Kubrick used to do like 90-something takes of one scene. Now,
I don't know. I'm kind of partial to the other side, whereas I don't like to get too many.
No, I agree.
I don't like to wear myself out too much. I find 3, 4.
Yeah.
And somewhere in there is going to be that shot.
But there's an old adage that you shoot the rehearsal.
Yeah.
Shoot the rehearsal. Don't tell the actors. Just shoot it.
Yeah.
Because we're not
then
thinking
say,
about
let's
it.
go. Okay, let's go for one.
Yeah.
Are we going to do one? She said, "That's all right. We've got it." What do you mean?
Yeah. Because they catch you off guard.
Yeah.
You see, when you know the
That's
camera's
great.
about to roll, the actor mode switches on. You're like, okay, right, the camera's coming. But when you're not thinking about it and it's rehearsal, you're so relaxed and you just let loose, and then you end up doing stuff that didn't come out when you were switched on per se, and it looks fantastic. And that is a good way to.
That's many times.
So what you touched upon there was really interesting, because I know you're actors and you're professional actors, but when you give that great performance and the operator goes, "Went a bit soft in the middle there," the professional side has to kick in.
I can fluff a line just as easily as they can go soft focus.
As they can go soft.
As they can put a boom in shot.
Yeah.
I can, as we did. And Jonathan, fantastic. I mean, what a shame Jonathan isn't here. Jonathan Nichol, who's shot this film beautifully. There were some very difficult, technically challenging tracking shots, pull focus, lighting, beautiful. And he could, some of these takes are 5 minutes long, and he's moving on a track and he's panning at the same time, and he's picking up several people in one go. And he would say, "Got that?" And but. And you go, "I can't do that again. I've really." It's not just the mind thing, but he's physically gone through an extraordinary journey to capture that shot, and he's going to go, "Please tell me everyone got their right lines in the right place," or a plane didn't go over there or whatever. So it works both ways, and actors, I think, mess up far more than technical.
We definitely do.
Gracious and generous. So just before we finish, really easy, light-hearted question: 1 or 2 favourite films each?
Oh, okay, very simply. In Bruges, it's a beautiful film. I'd love to have been in that. Singing in the Rain is one of my old ones, and probably the original Blade Runner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Quite diverse there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I go as broad as there are films.
Wonderful.
Definitely. Yeah.
Leila.
Oh gosh, she came to me. There was I looking at Toby.
The cogs were still going, and you were like, "I've got a few seconds."
What he said, and
great, excellent. So Total Recall. I like my action films, and I'm going to have to go. So I first got brought into fantasy films back when I was forced to have to take my little sister to Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter, and I'd never read the books before that. And so for me, that bonding moment with my sister and Harry Potter really, and that's what broke me into fantasy films and just loving everything about that.
Thank you.
That was it for me.
Excellent. Reece?
I'm a big fan of The Green Mile. That's one of my favourite films. I think Shawshank Redemption probably gets mentioned by a lot of actors. I'm generally drawn to drama because...
Toby, Reece, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed the Ghosts of Borley Rectory. Forgive me.
The Rectory.
Should we go today?
I'm going to do that again. We really enjoyed the Ghosts of Borley Rectory, and really look forward to whatever you've got next. Please submit it to the Romford International Film Festival. Thank you.
Thank you.